If you've ever built a scraper for your app, you know the painful part isn't downloading the page. It's turning that messy HTML into clean, structured data. You end up writing regex, CSS selectors, beautiful soup logic, and then a few weeks later the website changes and everything breaks. Today we're building something a little different. Instead of writing custom parsers for every website, we're going to build a universal AI data pipeline. We'll take raw HTML from a real website, send it through Ernie 5.1, and have it return clean, database-ready JSON that we can immediately use inside our application. The reason I'm using Ernie 5.1 for this project is because this kind of workflow can get expensive very quickly. When you're sending thousands of tokens of raw HTML to a language model, API costs actually matter, especially if you're building a SaaS or processing data at scale. Ernie 5.1 is designed around exactly these kinds of large-scale text workflows. So throughout this video, we'll see how it performs in a real engineering project. Alright, so let's start by creating a new Python project. The nice thing here is that even though we're using Ernie 5.1, we don't actually need to learn a brand new SDK because it's compatible with the standard OpenAI Python library. I'll start by installing the OpenAI package and then create a new Python file. From here, the setup should look pretty familiar. We import the OpenAI client, pass in our API key, and the only thing we're changing is the base_URL, which points to Baidu's Qianfan endpoint instead of OpenAI's. Everything else feels almost identical, so if you've already built applications with the OpenAI SDK, you should feel right at home. Now, before we send anything to the model, let's prepare the data we're going to parse. Instead of giving it nicely formatted JSON, I'm going to use something much closer to what you'd see in a real project. I have this messy block of HTML copied directly from a public web page. It's full of nested tags, random attributes, duplicated content, and a bunch of things we don't actually care about. This is usually where you'd start writing custom parsing logic. Maybe you'd reach for beautiful soup, build a bunch of CSS selectors, clean the text, handle missing fields, and hope the website doesn't change next week. That approach definitely works, but it also means every new website needs its own parser. Instead, we're going to let the language model do the heavy lifting. We'll send it the raw HTML along with a schema describing exactly what we want back. In my case, I only care about a few fields, things like the company name, job title, salary range, location, and tech stack. As long as the model can consistently produce that schema, it doesn't really matter how messy the original page is. Now, there is one problem with this approach. If you've ever tried building AI-powered pipelines before, you've probably run into it. You ask the model for JSON, and instead of giving you just the JSON, it says something like, "Sure, here's the structured data you requested," followed by the JSON object. It looks perfectly fine to us, but your application immediately crashes because JSON.loads expects raw JSON, not extra text. Fortunately, Ernie 5.1 has a feature that's really useful for this kind of workflow called dialog prefix continuation. The idea is pretty simple. Instead of only sending user messages, we also append one final assistant message containing the opening of the response we want. In this case, just an opening square bracket, and set prefix to true. What this does is force the model to continue generating from that exact point. So instead of deciding how to start its answer, it immediately begins writing the JSON array. No introduction, no markdown code block, and no extra explanation. Just the data your application is expecting. This might seem like a small detail, but it's actually a pretty important one for production systems. When your output is feeding directly into another service, a database, or an automation pipeline, consistency matters just as much as accuracy. The less cleanup code you have to write after the model responds, the more reliable the whole pipeline becomes. So let's see how well this actually works. Let's run it, and there we go. The model has ignored all of the unnecessary markup, picked out the relevant information, and returned a clean JSON object that's ready to be inserted into a database or passed directly into another service. At this point, I could load this into a pandas data frame, store it in SQLite or Postgres, or expose it through an API without having to write a custom parser for this particular website. Of course, one successful example doesn't prove much, so let's make the input harder. Instead of another clean job listing, I'm going to throw in something much messier. Maybe it's a different website with a completely different layout, or even a chain of customer support emails. The nice thing about this approach is that the pipeline doesn't really change. As long as I keep the output schema the same, I only need to swap out the input and update the prompt describing what fields I want extracted. That flexibility is really what makes this useful. You're no longer writing a new parser every time the input changes. You're defining the structure you want and letting the model figure out how to map messy, unstructured text into that schema. Overall, I think this is a really practical use case for Ernie 5.1. The biggest thing I like is that it fits into an existing Python workflow without much friction. Since it's compatible with the OpenAI SDK, I didn't have to rewrite my application or learn a completely different client library. Most of the work was just changing the endpoint and model name. There are a couple of trade-offs though. The first is getting set up. Right now, you'll need to create a Baidu account and go through the Chen-Fan registration process before you can start using the API. It's a one-time setup, but it's definitely a little more involved than signing up for some other providers. The other thing to keep in mind is that Ernie 5.1 is currently a text-only model. That's perfectly fine for workflows like this, where we're processing HTML, emails, logs, or other text documents. But if your pipeline depends on screenshots, scanned PDFs, charts, or other visual information, you'll need an OCR or vision model before passing the extracted text into Ernie. The last thing worth talking about is cost, because this is where a workflow like this can really add up. If you're building a SaaS that processes thousands of web pages every month, you're sending millions of tokens through your model. Premium APIs can become surprisingly expensive once you start scaling those numbers. Ernie 5.1 is priced much more aggressively, so for data extraction and structuring workloads like this, the API cost stays low enough that it's actually practical to build into a production application instead of just using it for occasional automation. For me, that's really the interesting part here. It's not replacing traditional parsers in every situation. It's giving you another option when you're dealing with messy, constantly changing, semi-structured data where writing and maintaining custom extraction logic quickly becomes more work than it's worth. If you want to try building this yourself, you can get started with Ernie 5.1 through Baidu's Chen-Fan platform. I'll leave links to the documentation and everything you need to get started down in the description below. The API is OpenAI SDK compatible, so if you've already built AI applications before, getting an existing project running with Ernie 5.1 is pretty straightforward. I'd also encourage you to experiment beyond this example. Try feeding it customer support emails, product catalogs, scraped documentation, financial reports, or whatever kind of messy data your own application deals with. I think that's where this workflow becomes the most useful, because you're spending less time writing parsers and more time building the actual product. That's about it for this video. If you found it helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.